Happy 4th of July, guys! So we're about to do US 250. And we'll do US 350 and US 550. So, both of those US highways are coming out today. We'll start with US 250 first. US 250 is from Richmond through Sandusky, Ohio on US 6, right near Cedar Point. Richmond, Charlottesville, Stanton, Elkins, Fairmont, and we get Wheeling, West Virginia, all the way up into Ohio, Richville, New Philadelphia, Wooster, Ashland, Ohio, Norwalk, and Sandusky. US 250 starts somewhere around. It begins on US 360 for US 250. We get Interstate 95. 95 will take you to Interstate 64 in downtown Richmond. So we're about to head right to US 33 of the beginning. And yes, US Highway 33 gets mentioned. You get US 1 in this street. It'll take you to Interstate 64 and 95. US 301 gets mentioned as well. We get a mention for Interstate 195. Yes, we're losing US 33. So US 250 will head into Charlottesville. We get a mention for Interstate 64 for Richmond. It says to Interstate 95. Then 64 East is still signed for Richmond. And then 64 says Charlottesville. That should have been Charleston, West Virginia for Interstate 64. And it says to Interstate 295. Here's US 522 in Gum Springs. We're getting off US 522 as we're circling around it. Trying to go around it, and then 250 is turning right. Here's US 15 in Zion Crossroads. Alright, we get Interstate 64 mentioned. So we're about to join Interstate 64 West for Stanton with US 250. So we're about to head into Charlottesville to meet US Highway 29. For US Highway 29, it's getting signed for Lynchburg and Stanton. For southbound, northbound gets signed for Washington, D.C. 250 West is signed for Stanton. Now we get Interstate 64 mentioned for Richmond and Stanton. That should have been Charleston for Interstate 64. Westbound. Alright, now we're going to be joining US 340. In Waynesboro, we're losing US 340. So US 250 will head into Stanton. We get Interstate 81 for Roanoke and Winchester. Alright, US 11's right there, because 250 is turning right shortly. Alright, US 250 will be losing US 11. In Monterey, we're about to meet US 220 for a little bit. Here's US 220 in Monterey. So 250 will head into West Virginia to Elkins. And now we're just going to enter into West Virginia. Yay! We're joining US 219. It's signed for Marlinton. And we're signed for Elkins on the straight. Now we get US 33 joining us once again. Because 33 joined us in Richmond. Has started in Richmond. 33 will head into Harrisonburg And it's getting Buckhannon and Parsons. So Buckhannon and Parsons. We're losing US 219. It'll head to 48 eastbound. So we're joining 48 westbound with US 250 and 33 for Buckhannon. And we're losing US 33 and 48. So 250 is turning right. We're joining US 119 for Grafton. Like US 250 gets signed. US 119 gets signed for Buckhannon, and we're heading into Grafton. And we're saying goodbye to US 119. 250 is turning left, so we'll be heading into Wheeling or something. And we are joining our good friend US 50, which we already done the video of US 50. And we're losing US 50. 250 is turning right. We get Interstate 79 signed for Clarksburg. That should have been Charleston, West Virginia. And then Morgantown, okay. Which I like to see. Pittsburgh. Morgantown's good, but Pittsburgh is much better than Interstate 79. Charleston, West Virginia for Clarksburg. Just put like Charleston, West Virginia. Here's US 19. So we're joining 19 for something in Fairmont. And yes, we're losing US 19. US 250 will head into Wheeling. We get Interstate 470. We get Interstate 70 East signed for Washington, Pennsylvania. And we get 70 West signed for Columbus. So we're about to join Interstate 70. And we get Welcome to Ohio. Wait a second. Yeah, on this Interstate 70, you just get Welcome to Ohio. So we're going into Wheeling Island with US 40. 250. I did not know. I just get on Interstate 70 for no reason. So, forgot that split off. Hang on. Now we just made it into Ohio. And we're about to be losing US 40. So 250 is turning right. Now we're about to be joining US 22. And we're losing US 22. And we're signed for New Philadelphia. In Urichville, you get the beginning of US 36. So 250 would head into New Philadelphia. Now we're about to be joining Interstate 77 north for Cleveland. Southbound Interstate 77 should not be Marietta. This should have been Charleston, West Virginia. And we're losing Interstate 77. So we get Strasburg. We should get like Hooster. Here's US 62 we're about to be joining. And we're losing US 62. So 250 is going to stay straight. So we're about to head into Sandusky. In Hooster, we get US 30 for Mansfield and Ashland. US 30 East is signed for Canton. 30 West is for like Manfield. And 250 is signed for Ashland. And yes, we are joining US 30. So 250 and 30 has joined. US 250 is signed for Ashland. So we're going to be losing US 30. Alright, we get Interstate 71 mentioned for Cleveland and Columbus still. So we are going to Ashland, Ohio with US 250. We get a mention for US Highway 42. So we are joining US 42 with us for 250 and 42. And we're losing US 42. So we get Norwalk for 32 miles. We get US Highway 224. We get a mention for US 20. 20 East is signed for Cleveland. And 20 West is signed for Toledo. That's good. Interstate 80 and 90 are Turnpike. 90 and 80 will head into Cleveland. 90 and 80 would head into Toledo. And US Highway 250 ends on US 6. So we're going to do US 350. And now here is US 350. It is only part of Colorado. It is from La Junta, Colorado, from Trinidad on US 160. So 50 and 160. In La Junta, we get US 350 signed for Trinidad. Yeah, because US 350 in Colorado is really short. Santa Fe Trail. Okay. And US 350 ends on US 160 in Trinidad. And now we're going to do US 550. US 550 is through Colorado, through New Mexico. Montrose, Durango, Colorado, heads up into New Mexico and Bloomfield. Then travels and then ends on Interstate 25 and US 85. And US 550 begins. Now we're going to be joining US 160. And now we're going to be losing US 160. So 550 will head up to New Mexico, to Bloomfield. And welcome to New Mexico. Now we're going to be joining US Highway 64. And we're losing US Highway 64 heading to Farmington. And we're signed for Albuquerque. We get Interstate 25 South signed for Albuquerque. While Interstate 25 North will head into Santa Fe. That should have been Denver. And US 550 ends. So that is it for my US 250 video, 350, and 550. So this will be published today on the 4th of July. So it's Independence Day, so y'all will have a good, happy 4th of July day. So, peace out.